What I've discovered in the Sister Wives universe, it's not Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, it's Robyn's Victimhood. Hi, my name is James and this is my take on reality. In this episode, we're going to be talking about Robyn and how she utilizes the whole idea of victimology and victimhood as a means and method to control Kody and how her manipulation might actually pay off in the end. Now, before we get started, I would ask that if you're getting anything from the content, that you consider subscribing. It really helps the channel out, it helps me out, and hey, who doesn't want to help a brother out? So give me that HBO special, which is Help a Brother Out Special. Down below, click the subscribe button, hit the bell so that you're notified every time I upload new videos. Also, if you're already subscribed, thank you. I really appreciate it. And if you want to continue to support the channel, go ahead and give us a thumbs up so that way I know that you're still enjoying the videos and you're getting something from the content. Thanks. Let's get it. Being a victim is very unappealing to many of us. Nobody wants to appear to be weak, unable to protect themselves, unable to provide for themselves, at the mercy of other people. Most people don't enjoy that. In this case, Robyn has taken the idea of victimhood and transformed it into a means to control Kody, and I'll show you how. What Robyn has done is she's essentially said, Kody, I need your help. I'm desperate, and you're the only one who can save me. And by her doing that, what she's done is she's created a need for Kody that actually feeds Kody's ego. See, Kody likes to see himself as a good person. Kody likes to see himself as a valiant nobleman who's fighting and warring against the dark forces of the universe. By him placating to a victim like Robyn, what he's doing is he's creating a scenario where, as a victim, she's demanding that he has a buy-in into her success, her future, her protection, and her salvation. Once he saves her, it's not enough that he saved her one time, but he has to make sure that she's okay moving forward. Then it causes the need for him to constantly be in the market to protect her, constantly around to be her savior and to save her from that. And it gives him a elated feeling that he's actually accomplishing something. Like, for instance, how did Kody actually meet Robyn? When Kody met Robyn, she was divorced from a gentleman, Jessup. And while she was married to Jessup, if she comes out of that divorce, there was some claim that there may have been some mistreatment. We'll call it that so the video doesn't get knocked off of YouTube and algorithms. But she was supposedly being mistreated, and the children were supposed to be mistreated by the husband as well. Kody comes in. He says, "What's going on here?" And then Robyn gets to look at him and say, "Oh, Kody, you won't believe this, but I need your help. Will you please save me from my bad situation?" And then Kody comes in, he sees what's going on, and says, "Come with me, I'll protect you." And then all of a sudden, he's protecting her. He's inviting her into the family. As he's talking about marrying and turning into another wife, what happens from that point? He says, well, in order for me to protect the children from this evildoer villain, what I need to do is I need to divorce Mary and marry you. That way, I can be sure that I'm going to save not only you, but I'm going to save the children as well. And then Kody becomes a savior of not only Robyn, but he becomes a savior of her children. See, the one thing that every victim needs is a villain. But the one thing every hero needs is somebody to be saved. Enter the victim. So, from that respect, the victim and the hero both require a focal point of somebody who is mistreating them and doing them wrong, so that way the hero has an opportunity to combat the villain, and the villain has the opportunity to oppress and then be defeated by the hero in protection of the victim. Now, as Robyn got rid of her ex-husband and that villain has been vanquished, what does she do from that point? Because you can't have a victim with no villain. You can't have a scenario where you're not being oppressed. So what did Robyn do? She looked towards her sister wives. See, by looking towards her sister wives, she had built-in villains all throughout the line. She had Mary, who had previously been nasty to the other wives, so she was the chief villain. Then you had Janelle, who was the kind of the mastermind, cold, stoic, evil. And then you also have Christine, who's super emotional and just demanding time away from Kody. She's trying to pull him out. And three of them get together and they go against Robyn. And then when they go against Robyn, what do? She complained that they were icing her out, that her and her kids were being isolated and made to feel like outsiders. So what does Kody do? The hero, when he's faced with confronting these villains, he starts to spend more time with Robyn. He starts to spend more time with the kids. Oh, Kody, you won't believe this. They're so nasty to me, Kody. What do I do? Those big eyebrows on her head. I swear to God, my eyebrows are getting bigger. If I ever meet Robyn, I'm just going to have one question. What are those? And Kody gets to come in. He's spending more time with her because he wants her to feel like they're part of the family. So he's spending more time with her. He's spending more time with the kids. And by him doing that, he's neglecting his original family, Janelle, Mary, and Christine. And he's also neglecting their kids. So they start to complain about the fact that they're not getting the attention that they need and require from Kody. And Kody hears that. And then all of a sudden, he starts to develop animosity towards the other wives. Well, if you guys were actually accepting of Robyn and her kids, then I wouldn't have to spend as much time with Robyn and her kids, and I'd be able to spend time with you guys because you're making bad choices. Now all of a sudden, you want me to deal with the consequences of your bad choices. Again, Robyn has successfully turned Kody against every one of those wives because it was a means to an end. And she did it all in the name of victimhood. Now, currently, the victimhood saga continues, especially in the episodes where we're seeing the conversation between Christine and her leaving and the family on the porch. Now, right before that, when Christine had packed up Kody's stuff and she had put it into the garage, and then she kicked him out of the bedroom, and then Kody came back and he was complaining to Robyn, and we saw it on video where he was complaining to Robyn, and Robyn was insisting, you just need to stay in there and try to make it work. See, what she's doing is, it's not that Robyn all of a sudden wants the family to work and she cares about the family existing. No, what she's doing is she's painting herself as the reasonable one, the one who is so sensitive and so tied into the family and everything that Kody wants. She's trying to defend Kody. She's teaching Kody, in fact, to become a victim too. Oh, you're the quiet hero. You're the sullen hero. You're like a Batman or something. And so when you rise against these other people, Christine, Janelle, Mary, and you fight against them, specifically Christine in this instance, you're doing so because they're doing you wrong. And not only are you looking out for yourself, because that would be selfish, but you as a hero, you're defending Robyn and her children as well. So Kody's calling and his defense of the family goes beyond just him. He gets to say that, Christine, you're being selfish because you're only thinking about yourself, whereas I, the hero, am thinking about the entire family, which just happens to be Robyn's family. But I'm thinking about the family. And we've heard these kind of conversations throughout the discussion that he was having with Christine. As an example of what I'm talking about as far as victimhood, we got to see it play out on Christine's porch. When Christine came out and said, well, we've always kind of had problems, and it really came to a head in Vegas, and I was struggling there in Vegas, and Robyn looked her in her face and said, that's a lie. See, she was saying that Kody is right. You just have your side of things, and nobody understands Kody. Kody is the misunderstood hero in this situation. Oh, well, we had communications. No, you guys don't talk. You guys don't communicate. Because Kody comes to me and he tells me that you did this to him. You did that to him. You made him, you oppressed him this way. You cut him out that way. You're cutting him away from the kids. You're taking the kids away. You kicked them out of the house. You kicked them out of your bed. Now you're going to sell the house. You're going to take all the money and you're going to take Truly and move to Utah. And you're being a villain. And I'm trying to defend Kody. And you say, well, isn't that her being strong? Not really. This is a situation where if you look at a Superman scenario, Superman and Lois Lane, if Superman gets knocked down or something happens to Superman and he's in a weakened state and Lois Lane runs up to the big villain and she starts pounding on his chest, you leave him alone. You leave him alone. And when the villain turns around and does something to Lois Lane, throw up in a tree or whatever, then Superman comes back and defends her. It wasn't that Lois Lane was ever in a position where she was actually going to beat the villain. She just created a scenario where she got further victimized by the villain and the hero got to come in and save her. And that's what happened on the porch. When Robyn came out and said, hey, What about if you move, since you're no longer with Kody, what about a relationship with us? Because that's what I always wanted. Oh, Kody, here I am again, asking to have a relationship with Christine. And then Christine turns around and say, no, we're not doing that because you just sat here 5 times and called me a liar at my house on my porch. So no ass, we're not going to be meeting up after this unless you're trying to get it in. Christine was very smart when she said she wanted to continue the relationship that they currently have moving into the future because she's not quite ready to try to involve herself with these other folks, meaning Mary, Kody, and Robyn. When you have this kind of break, you have to take a break, separate yourself, then you have to come back, reassess, and then you reintroduce yourself back into that situation. If you try to jump right back into a relationship or continue with the relationship you have, no matter what conversation you have, all that's going to happen is they're going to continue treating you the way they've been treating you. If you've been neglected, you've been mistreated in that relationship, then you have to take a break if you ever come back. You have to create separation so that way when you come back, you can reintroduce yourself and say, this is how I want to be treated. This is who I am. And this is how I want to be treated moving forward. But because she said what she said and she stuck up for herself, all of a sudden, Robyn got to play the victim again. Now, when we talk about this, why is this subtle manipulation so impactful? I think that at the end of the day, we all talk about like who's legally married and community property and all these things. That Robyn, in fact, has the most community property out of everybody because she's married to Kody, and all this property that's being acquired has been acquired after Robyn has married Kody. They sold off all the Las Vegas houses which precede the marriage. So everything that they've acquired since Vegas is property and assets that have been acquired under the umbrella of them being married, which means that Robyn owns 50% at least of all that property. Now, we all kind of fall into that when Kody says, 50-50 and all that. We all kind of fall into the community thing of it when we talk about divorce. The reality of it is, in many cases, it's not a 50-50 split. You have a situation where Robyn hasn't worked a day since they've been married. That's the agreement. If they get divorced, even if they start out 50-50, they're going to reach into Kody's pile and say, well, look, you have to pay child support. We're going to take some of your pile. You have to pay alimony because she hasn't worked. She isn't working. She doesn't have any income. You have all the income. So we're going to take some more of your pile. And at this point, what Robyn has successfully done, and I give her credit for this because it's the most evil, maniacal thing I've seen in a while, very Machiavellian. And I don't know whether she did it on purpose or whether she did it by mistake, but it was completely brilliant if she did it on purpose. What she does is she starts calling her house, that big McMansion that she lives in, the $1 million home, she calls that her property. She even gets Kody to refer to that as Robyn's house. Robyn's house, Robyn's house, Robyn's house. So if they got divorced, what do you think's going to happen to that house? They've said as many times, well, if we get divorced, this will be in my name and I get to walk away with this property. And that's what I need to do. Kody has even said it. The reason why I wanted to split the lot up at Coyote Pass into 5 lots, the excuse he gave was, I need the pond lot because if one of you leave and you sell your property off, then I have to be able to protect the pond for the family because you guys can leave me and I'm left with nothing. So he has even acknowledged that this is Robyn's separate property. And by doing that, all that happens is that when you get divorced, that's what her attorney might stand up and 10 toes down and look the court in the face and say, hey, this house, this should be Robyn's house and this should be considered separate property. So we start dividing up 50-50 and we start doing that cut. This house should be set aside for her and her kids because it was promised to her that this was going to be her house and given to her kids. Even if by chance the judge doesn't go along with it. Her attorney could look at the situation and Robyn could look at the situation and say, a majority of our funds come from us being on TLC. Christine has already left. Quiet as kept. I think she's already started shooting in Utah. So she's already left. If Janelle leaves, that'll just leave Kody, Mary, and Robyn to shoot sister wives. That is a loser scenario. They had already talked about a few years back about canceling the series anyway. With the 3 of them, the 3 Stooges, they're definitely canceling the series. Nobody wants to see a storyline with Kody, Mary, and Robyn. So they're going to cancel the show. And looking forward to that, a majority of Kody's money is reliant on, and much of the success, even from Mary's respect, is relying on the success of the TV show and the popularity of the TV show. Without that TV show, there's a good possibility that the well is going to dry up. So in light of that, somebody might look at it and say, Robyn, what you need to do, instead of you trying to get deeper alimony, say you'll reduce your alimony payments if Kody is willing to sign off the house to you. In addition to everything that she had going on, and I'm kind of here for him. I'm not going to say it couldn't happen to a nicer guy, but it could happen to a nicer guy. Biggest problem that I have with this situation is that by you trying to have somebody who you could cape for or you could be a hero for and looking for a victim, then what you're doing is you're setting yourself up. You should never enter into a relationship where you're looking for a fixer-upper. Try to get something that's completely done or almost done. Not necessarily professionally or whatever the case may be, but you definitely want to have somebody who has the emotional maturity to where they're independent and they're able to take care of themselves and they're able to soothe themselves. I hate the saying where somebody says, this is my other half, this is my better half, oh, they complete me. Relationships work out best when you have two complete people, and that way you can have a couple. If you don't have a couple and you only have one or less than one, then that relationship is doomed to fail. There's nothing in the relationship between Robyn and Kody that leads me to believe that Robyn is going to stick around through the tough times. And as soon as you start going down, she's packing a bag and hitting the door. I'm James. This has been my take on reality, and I'm out. 'Cause I've been living life right like I could just die.